have my son here.
I saw him.
I'm sorry, he's sick.
That's right. This is Boston Cheering. This is my niece, Madison Candace.
Are we going to wait here for something?
We've got another person here tonight who is a very special friend to us here in South Carolina. I mentioned 2011 when he spoke at our annual Silver Elephant Dinner. I believe he won the straw poll that year. Correct. I appreciate Senator Santorum in so many ways. I appreciate his heart, his leadership, appreciate his standing up for families and children, Bella's story, your advocacy for children across this country. Senator, it's so good to see you in South Carolina. Come on up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matt. Appreciate that kind introduction. Thank you for the very kind welcome. Let me just say it's great to be here with Governor Haley and your two great United States Senators, Tim and Lindsey. You're doing a great job representing you in Washington, D.C. I had a chance to share a seat next to Joe Wilson on the way from Washington, D.C. today, and I just want to specifically thank him because he is out there on the front line in the Congress doing what nobody else is doing, which is fighting Common Core and trying to get the federal government out of forcing that standard down the throats of the American public. So thank you, Joe Wilson. Okay, I have to take a little personal privilege here just to, you've met my son tonight, you just don't know it. He was one of those guys up here in uniform. Very proud of him. My son, John. John, why don't you stand up? Where is he? There he is. I just want you to know South Carolina's changed my life. I mean that in all sincerity. Obviously, we campaigned down here a lot. We had a wonderful time 4 years ago. I met so many wonderful people. I was hugging and kissing just women, hugging and kissing. And you got to say that these days. And in the back, and so many friends that I've seen. And I have to relate to you that after the campaign was over in April of last year, 4 years ago, my son John, having traveled with me and spent a lot of time, and we spent some time at the Citadel. In fact, on primary night in 2012, we had our primary party at Mark Clark Hall at the Citadel. And so we got to really know the Citadel family a little bit, and they were great volunteers for us. And a couple of weeks after the campaign was over, he walked up to me and said he had taken a year off between high school and college to work on my campaign. And he said, I'm not going to go to the school that I was originally planning to go to. I'm going to the Citadel. And are you just going to knock me? I did not see that one coming. And what he said to me, I just have to say this as a proud father. He said, you know, I've been back, and I've seen a lot of my friends come back from school, and I've seen what they've gone through in their first year of school and as freshmen, and they told me stories of their life on campus. And then I remember working and seeing and witnessing the men and women that I met at the Citadel, and I said, I want to be more like them than like them. And that's why he decided to go to the Citadel. Now you've changed me even more because my second son, Daniel, is also at the Citadel. He is a sophomore there. In a couple of weeks, he's going to go to field training. He's now a member. He's now taken the oath to join the United States Air Force, which I'm really proud of him for doing that too. I want to thank Colonel Graham for his good leadership on that issue of joining the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we're supposed to have a few minutes here, so I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I did want to share with you that I agree with everybody else. This country's in trouble, and we've got serious problems here at home, got serious problems overseas. But I too understand that the greatness of this country is still strong. It just needs good leadership. People who have a good vision for this country. About a year ago, I wrote a book called Blue Collar Conservative. And the reason I wrote that book is because I believe the answer for us in America to bring us together again. If there's anything I hear when I travel across this country, it's not fire and brimstone. People are mad, but they're also disillusioned at how divided this country is. They want someone who can lead this country and bring us together. And I really believe the answer to that is a combination of what Republicans have always stood for and have been great at articulating, which is the need for smaller government and pro-growth economics, flat taxes, and the ideas that create growth and opportunity in America. But we also have to understand that America is a little different today than it was 30, 40 years ago. And the biggest reason is because we all know is the hollowing out of the middle of America. You know, there were two books published just within the last couple of years, one on the far left, one on the far right. And they both came down with the same conclusion, that the reason we're seeing middle America struggle and the people's inability to rise comes down to some very fundamental, simple fact. It's the breakdown of the American family. The American family I'm not saying this is a cultural warrior. I mean, I know you all know. I mean, there's nobody more solid on those issues than Rick Santorum. I hear that all the time. I'm very proud of that, by the way. But I'm saying that from an economic point of view. Do you know that just a little over a week ago, there was an article in the USA Today that talked about the Center for American Progress, the left, talking about how they now have to start to pay attention to the breakdown of the family. Ladies and gentlemen, that leadership is important for us to be able to go out. You want to appeal to immigrant groups. You want to appeal to those who are struggling in America. Tell the truth. Talk about how we need programs to stop penalizing people from getting married, or to have programs that say that if you get married, you lose all of your benefits if you're poor. The government stands in the way. We need to be on the side of families in America. And as your governor has shown here in South Carolina, because I travel around South Carolina a lot, and you know, I happen to see a lot of manufacturing facilities in this state. She has done an amazing job. As your former governor, Sanford, who's here too, have done an amazing job in attracting manufacturing jobs to this state. You've got technical programs and training programs. You're doing it right here. And look at the impact on your economy as a result. We need a message that says pro-family, pro-manufacturing, pro-energy, pro the little guy in America. Because that's who we are as Republicans. We believe in the little guy's ability to rise, but we don't do a very good job of talking about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an opportunity in this election against a woman from Chappaqua, New York, who, when she left the presidency, said she was broke. That was before the $500,000 fee that was paid to the Clinton Foundation. We have an opportunity to present a contrast here at home and a contrast internationally. A contrast where someone can go out and articulate a vision of American safety and security because of experience in that area. Also, they had the courage to identify the enemy. Everyone talks about Iran and the Iran deal and how bad it is. It is a horrible deal. There is no deal that can be a good deal with an opponent on the other side of the table who you will not keep that deal. You can't negotiate a good deal with someone who won't keep a deal. We need a president who will restore those sanctions, will draw a real red line. You know those sanctions, those crushing sanctions that brought Iran to the table? Well, part of those were introduced back in 2004. They're called the Iran Freedom and Support Act. And when I introduced that legislation, I had 0 co-sponsors. No one would sign on to that bill because no one wanted to admit at a time we were at war in Iraq that we had to confront Iran and their nuclear program. I finally pushed and we got that bill passed and those sanctions went in place. And they did, in fact, bring Iran to its knees. We need to bring them to their knees. We need to put a line in the sand. And we need to tell them that a nuclear weapon is unacceptable, and America will make sure that that does not happen. I want to thank you all very much for being here tonight, for the work that you do for the South Carolina GOP. I want to thank our national chairman, Reince Priebus, who's here. I've been on the national stage now a few years, and I've seen a lot of chairmen come and go, and I mean this in all sincerity. This man is building a party and an organization that is going to help us win in 2016, and I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you, Reince. And my final thought to each and every one of you is simply this. 4 years ago, I said this was the most important election in American history, and it was right. We've seen the consequences of not electing a conservative in the White House. The consequences now are more dire. Internationally, here at home. This is the most important election in your lifetime. And so my challenge to you is to understand the important role that South Carolina plays in getting this right. Pick a candidate. I've got to know and love Rick Perry from the last campaign. I can tell you wonderful stories about what a great human being he is. I supported Ted Cruz when he ran in the primary against the establishment candidate. Ted's right, there are a lot of really good people, but they need your help. Please don't sit on the sideline. Understand how important this race is. Get out there and do what's necessary to fight for what you believe in, to get engaged in the process. Because if we don't, let me assure you, the reason the other side is winning is because they want it more than we do. They're willing to fight and never, ever, ever give up. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's harder to fight for things when you're protecting what you have, which is the great freedoms of our country, than it is when you're trying to transform America. But we have to have that same fire in this election if we're going to win. I've been around long enough to know what's in you because I see the representatives you have here and I see the fire in their belly. Go get them. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Senator. The fact that you and Congressman Wilson were on the same plane together, there was apparently a plane where all the passengers had keychains today. I don't know how that happened. So that explains it. But in all seriousness, we love you, Congressman Wilson, and all our guests tonight. We're very blessed here in South Carolina, not only with our guests from out of state,